Hey everyone, welcome back to another Ask Mevo Anything. I'm Joseph Capehart. I'm the Senior Technical Specialist here at Mevo, and today we are going to do another single camera show. I'm going to answer all of your questions. We're going to go over some basic topics, discuss a little bit about updating your Mevo, how to get help, and some communication tips and things like that, and why it's important to be able to contact us either through an official method or to be able to get peer-to-peer support. And then also talking about our previous iterations of the Mevo and how you can live comfortably knowing that we are not abandoning those at all, and how we continue to support all versions of the Mevo camera. So for this production, I'm going to be using a single Mevo start. I'm running via Ethernet using a power Ethernet adapter from Mevo.com. I'm running the Mevo 2.0 app. All of the overlays that you're seeing are done in the Mevo 2.0 app. And then for audio, I'm using this Blue Nano microphone from Blue, and I'm running that 3.5 into an audio mixer, which is going into the back of the 3.5 TRS on the back of the Mevo Start. Now you might be wondering, can I use this same microphone and not use a mixer? Absolutely, you can use the USB port on the back of the Mevo Start and it'll automatically detect it. Just make sure you turn on external power devices. The reason that I'm using the 3.5 today is specifically for, the only reason I'm using 3.5 is because I'm using the USB for a power Ethernet adapter. Okay, so for today's topic, I'm going to be talking about outdated app versions, some kind of issues it could create by choosing to not update or keep your app updated with the Mevo camera. I'm going to talk about best methods of communication with the Mevo team, and then also if you're a beta tester or want to become a beta tester, what groups you can join to do those things. And then I'm going to talk about the previous iterations of Mevo, whether it's the Mevo First Gen and the Mevo Plus, and then of course the Mevo Start, and talk about how we go and continue to support those. Although they are discontinued products, we have not abandoned them as a company and don't expect us to do that anytime in the near future. The Mevo First Gen has not been around or sold brand new for over a year, and it continues to receive new features and new abilities. As always, put your questions in the chat. I would be happy to answer those. I do have a couple of agents in there from the customer experience team that are getting your questions and making sure I get those. Whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, someone is monitoring those to make sure I get those here live, and I'll answer those live. As always, if you have any technical questions or you need support, the best way to do that is to submit a ticket at help.mevo.com, and one of our agents would be happy to answer those as quickly as possible. Looks like we already have a question from Mark. Any news on Mevo working with Game Changer? I am unaware. I do know that currently there is a beta going on with Sideline HD that integrates, I believe, with Game Changer. We are not currently working directly with Game Changer to make any kind of special compatibility. I'm not sure what's going on with Game Changer, but I do know Sideline HD, they're really on top of what they're doing over there with their RTMP setup. So I believe somebody was in the customer group, and if you're not part of the customer group, you should go definitely check that out. We do have a customer group. There's a link here, but if you're on Facebook, just go to Mevo customer group, or if you're already on the customer group. There was someone looking to provide 10 beta seats for Sideline HD, which really gives you really neat ways to track runs and things like that for sports, whether it's baseball or softball. Christopher says, any plans to have the ability to connect a fourth Mevo camera in the Multicam app? So Christopher, that is a great question. As it stands right now, we have, as you know, 3 Mevo limitation, whether it's Mevo First Gen, Mevo Plus, or Mevo Start. You can go up to 3. Now, that limitation could be adjusted in the future. As it stands, we're sticking with 3, but the more testers and, as devices advance, as you know, with the multicam, it really depends on the mobile device you're using. The older devices aren't going to be able to run as many cameras because all of the stream or recording, although you can do ISO recordings to your Mevo, the combined output is all saved on your phone. So encoding all of that stuff is going to be done on the phone or the mobile device you're using. So as technology advances, I'm not going to rule out that that's not a possibility, but as it stands, when it comes to release, we expect to limit that at 3 devices. Gene says, is a Mevo compatible with Ecam Live? Absolutely. So you can use the Mevo first gen or the Mevo Plus via wireless or wired webcam for both Mac and Windows. And you should be able to use that with Ecam because I believe Ecam accepts webcams. And then you can use the Mevo Start, also wireless or wired webcam, or wired or wireless NDI. I believe NDI is accepted in Ecam, and that was how people were first using the Mevo Start with Ecam, even without the webcam ability. So you can absolutely use any of the iterations of Mevo and go live to Ecam. Thank you for the questions. Keep that coming. Like I said, we have someone on YouTube and on Facebook that'll be able to address those. And if you're just joining us, I am Joseph Capehart, the Senior Technical Specialist, and I'm going to go over a few pretty general tips, how things work. And I also want to talk about some savings. It looks like our marketing team just threw into my document here. We have $20 off the Mevo Start today. You can get $15 off the Ethernet power adapter and $10 off the Mevo Start case at Mevo.com. You can take advantage of those. So for the first topic today, I'm going to talk about outdated app versions, issues it creates by choosing to stay outdated, and specifically I'm going to talk about version 1.18, which was released over a year ago at this point. It was the last version of the Mevo app that Vimeo released, as Mevo was part of Vimeo, but as Mevo rolled off from Vimeo, a new app was released called the Mevo 2.0 app. If you are still using the old app, you're going to run into some of these issues, and I'm going to talk about what those issues might look like. A quick and easy way to see what these apps, if it's an old app, is by looking at the icon. If you're seeing an icon that looks like the one on the right, I believe, it is the squared black icon that kind of resembles the Mevo First Gen or Mevo Plus. And then you have the new icon that has the Mevo Start on it. So issues that you might see if you are not updating your app from the 1.18 app. We did allow people to make that decision on their own. So we didn't force people to update, but they were prompted that this version would no longer be updated. Now, things that you could run into, and I'm seeing more of this here lately because things are really starting to break down with that app. Since that app's not receiving any updates from us, only the Mevo 2.0 app is, some things you're gonna run into is you're not gonna be able to connect. So a lot of devices are no longer able to connect or having issues with that version. Some issues are people are able to connect, but they're not able to stream to specific platforms. And the reason that is the Mevo doesn't control everything. The way it works is if Facebook or YouTube changes their API or a method or a token of way things are communicating, then we have to update that via firmware or an app update. So if you're not getting that update, then you're going to lose and disconnect from those platforms. You're going to lose the ability to stream to those. Now these platforms change the way that they work all of the time. If you're a common Mevo user or any other platform, they all have to conform to the way that the platform says they need to communicate. So the 1.18 app hasn't been updated since this time last year. So if you're running into issues, make sure you're updating. You can easily check the icon as you can see here, and you can update your app and move on to the Mevo 2.0 app that'll solve any of those issues. Another thing you're going to notice is missing features. If you're using an outdated app, and that's not even just the Mevo 1.18 app, it could be the Mevo 2.0 app. If you updated before, the last time you updated was last summer, you might notice some features aren't there. We've had users open up their Mevo, and they're still using the old app, and they're not seeing webcam mode. They're not seeing NDI. They're not seeing Twitch, right? So Twitch and LinkedIn. Those were all updates to the Mevo 2.0 app. They were not all readily available at launch. So some of those things might be missing, and if they are, that means your Mevo's outdated or your app's updated or both. So you might have the newest app. Make sure you're updating also the latest firmware. If your latest firmware is not updated, you're not going to see some of these features because the Mevo doesn't even know they exist yet. So that's a huge thing of why you should absolutely update your app and firmware when possible. And then the last thing is, it might not, or if it's the Mevo 1.18 app, the old version, it's not going to find the Mevo Start at all. So the Mevo 2.0 app was the app that was released during the beta for the Mevo Start and has continued to be updated since then. The Mevo 1.18 app was not using the Mevo Start at that time. So if you have that old app and you get a Mevo Start and you're wondering why you can't see it, that is going to be the reason why. Looks like we have some more questions. Rob says, what about audio? I used to use iRig without having cord plugged into cam while I DJ. I'm using 3.5 now to run audio for 3 starts. So when it comes to using audio, nothing's really changing. Even if you're using multicam or if you're using audio with like OBS or something, basically what you want to do if you're using an iRig without having cord plugged into the cam. Okay, so you're using the iRig going into the mobile device. The same thing is going to continue whether it's with multicam or regardless of how you're using it. You're going to be able to continue to use that iRig with your mobile device. Now, if you do ever decide to switch over to the Mevo Start and continue to use the 3.5 on that, you will not be able to continue to use the iRig with the Mevo Start directly. But regardless if you're using a Mevo First Gen Plus or Mevo Start, you can plug that iRig directly into your mobile device and you shouldn't have any issues, whether it's with the multicam when it comes out in production or any of our other apps. You're going to be able to continue to plug directly into your mobile device. Barton says, can you record a SD card on the Mevo Start without going live? Absolutely, and maybe one of our agents can even get you a link to show you how to do that. You absolutely do not have to stream. There's a few ways that you can go about starting and recording without streaming. One of the methods is connecting via local Wi-Fi or connecting via the Mevo hotspot. Neither have to have internet access, and as soon as you connect, you can just press record to SD card and not select the destination that's on the internet. The second method would be simply pressing the power button on the back of the Mevo Start. If you have a SD card in the Start and you press that power button just one time, you'll notice that the tally light on the front of the camera, which indicates the status, will turn red and it will begin recording whatever you're pointing it at. There's a few ways you can change that in the app. So you can say, I want you to record or I want you to stream when I press this button. So it's totally up to you by how you use it. But by default, it's going to record to your SD card if it has one. Now, if it doesn't have one, you're going to see a flashing yellow light, which is going to indicate an error. So if you do press it and you see a yellow light, and that means there's an error, whether you're trying to stream using that button or record using that button. But hopefully, one of the agents in the chat will be able to get you a link that does clearly state that you can record without connecting to the internet or stream. Thank you for the question. Keep the questions coming. As you all know, if you are a return viewer, I absolutely love answering these questions. It's the best part of the week. And plus, being able to interact with you directly really helps with the show. It really helps keeping it smooth, and it really helps us continue to do these shows. If you do not know, it looks like I still have this graphic up. If you do not know, I am Joseph Capehart, the Senior Technical Specialist here at Mevo, and I am in the tickets, I'm in the articles, I'm in the Facebook groups, and you can communicate and interact with me, whether it's a live stream or whether it's in a YouTube chat, Facebook chat, whatever it is, you'll see me around, and I'm the one that answers your questions. I'm the one that kind of acts as a middleman with you and the developers and trying to get things changed, or if you have issues, myself, Will, or Joseph, and then there's Nate as well. We are all consistently, or at least trying to interact with you directly so we can try to make the Mevo the best product that we can possibly make it. So for the next topic, I want to talk about best methods of communication, which I kind of just touched on a little bit. Okay, so if you're looking for official technical support, a guaranteed response, the best way to reach us is via help.mevo.com. There is a link in the, if you're watching via Facebook right now, there is a link there to open a ticket directly if you're having an issue, and we can address those in a ticket. That's 100% guaranteed you're going to get a response. We do have other groups, and we will link to those later today if you go and check out the Mevo customer group. The Mevo Customer Group is a group on Facebook which is primarily for peer-to-peer assistance, which means users helping users. Now, we are in there. We do make announcements. We do run the page. We do, monitor the chat there, and we do try to make attempts to interact throughout the day. But as you probably know, we are always trying to keep our tickets down to a 0. We're always trying to make sure that we have nobody waiting for a response. So if you're looking for a direct response from a Mevo agent, you should open a ticket at help.mevo.com. If you can wait, or you just want to talk peer-to-peer, the Mevo customer group is a great way to do that. You can, of course, tag us and things, but that doesn't guarantee your response. As you can imagine, all of us get tagged regularly, multiple times a day. We get multiple messages a day, and we can't spend all day on Facebook. So the best way to respond or get a response from a Mevo agent is help.mevo.com. That way we can track the issue, and if necessary, we can escalate the issue to the next level, whether it's with our development team, with software or hardware, whatever it might be. By opening a ticket, it allows us to do that, where in Facebook, communication can easily get lost in the flow of all of the posts and tags and things like that. Okay, so, and then we do have public beta groups. If you are interested in joining any of these beta groups, we have a public webcam group right now and a public multicam group. That means you can access the wireless webcam for Mac and Windows. That means you can access multicam for iOS and Android, and you can test these things. Now, when you're doing beta groups, we're going to link to all of these, all on the Mevo Camera, the Mevo customer group. We're going to have links to all of these. You can access those. Now, when you are doing beta testing for any of the applications, we love doing that, and we love introducing users to our new software. Now, you kind of have to make sure when you use these things that you are aware that it is beta. So what I try to recommend users, if you can risk failure, then that's when you want to use a beta software. Not that I'm saying it will fail, but you don't want to use it for any kind of professional instances right off the bat, because if it does fail, I mean, betas are for failures. It's for us to find issues, bugs, and things like that. If it was perfectly ready and 100% successful 100% of the time, it would no longer be in beta. So if you're willing and you would love to, interact with developers, interact with us, provide suggestions and feedbacks, really kind of help mold our applications. That's one thing we do really well at Mevo. We take feedback. And if you want to change something, whether it's in a user interface or you would like to see something moved or changed or added, then joining the beta groups is the best way to do that, whether it's software or hardware related beta group. Join those. We love to have that kind of feedback, and that's the #1 way to get things changed. So the Mevo Start actually received NDI because of feedback from users in beta group. All of the Mevos received webcam abilities because of feedback from the customers in beta groups and from our customer response on things like that. So you can directly influence the way that these products go if you participate. So if that's something that interests you, we will have links at the Mevo customer group for you to get to our beta groups and participate in those. Adam says, I have an old version of Mevo and want to use StreamYard with it. Can I? Absolutely, depending on what version of the Mevo. You said the old version, so I can only assume it's either a 1st gen or a Mevo Plus. You can tell by looking at the grill on the front of the circular camera or the cylinder looking camera. If it's red, then it's a Mevo 1st gen. If it's gray, then it's a Mevo Plus. Now, both of those can work with wireless and wired webcam, which I believe StreamYard, Ecam, all of those, they all accept webcams as inputs. So you can absolutely use any iteration of Mevo with that platform. Thank you for the question. Thank you. And also, people, please let me know, where are you watching from today? Let me know if you're using your Mevo in a unique way that we haven't probably seen. I'm telling you, our users are extremely creative with how they use it. We see cooking shows, DJing, podcasts, lots of cool things. So if you're doing something unique and you would like to share it, please. And if you have some production stuff already done, make sure you tag us. You can do #Mevo Camera. Our marketing team is constantly monitoring those to see what kind of cool stuff you're using, and you might even be featured in one of our posts or shares at Mevo Camera. Marvelous asks, why can't I download the Mevo webcam on my MacBook Pro? Marvelous, that's a great question. It really depends on the issue you might actually be having. It depends what you're downloading on your MacBook. If you're looking for specific assistance, there's a lot of variables that you could be having issues with. So if you could open a ticket, help.mevo.com. One of our agents would be happy to help you. Something that I would recommend including in that ticket, just to kind of help our agents along the way, what version of MacBook are you using? What version of the application are you using? What error are you getting? All of those types of things. Are you using the M1 MacBooks or Apple devices? So include all of that information. That way we can kind of give you a pretty reasonable response the first time. And that's actually part of the, that's closing out this last thing. So it's a perfect time. When you are communicating in these Mevo customer groups or these beta groups, or you're opening a ticket, one of the highlights that I want to recommend is to provide as much possible information as you can. If you are really, stressing time and you need a solution quick, the best thing you can do to set yourself up for a great solution or a fast response is to let us know what app version are you using, what mobile device are you using, how are you connected, what was the error message you got, how did the Mevo react, what was the lights on the Mevo, all of these things, what kind of charger are you using, are you using the Mevo charger, the Mevo cable, cable? Are you using third party? Are you charging it through a computer? Have you enabled the app or the version or the feature in the app? All of these things are very valuable information for our agents to provide a solution on the first go around. So if you're looking for a great response from our agents, that's the best thing you can do, is provide as much information. If you think it's too much information, it's probably not. Continue to add more. The more information you can provide us, the less questions we have to ask. And if you can provide videos or supporting documents, whether it's photos or any kind of other media, that'd be fantastic. We do our best to do the same thing. So when we try to provide a user solution, we try to provide them with a video, we try to provide them with an animation, whether it's a screen capture, step-by-step instructions. We really want to make sure that we provide you the best that we can when we assist you. And the best way to get a quicker response and an actual solution is to provide as much information when you first submit a ticket or submit a post or something like that. Alrighty. Ooh, got some more questions. All right, so looks like we've got on Palm Sunday, my live streamed the mass, but it came about as a black screen. Actually, I have your ticket, I believe. The app showed the Mevo start operating normally, so I'm confused why the live stream to Facebook and YouTube came out as a black screen. I believe I have your ticket, and I believe you, unless it's a different ticket, so I apologize. I believe you mentioned that you were using overlays for the first time. And if that is the case, and you are using overlays for the first time, and you selected an overlay and you just check-marked it without even noticing, that's going to send out a blank screen if you didn't add text or if you didn't add a graphic or something. By default, it's a blank screen. Let me get rid of this graphic here, and I can kind of show you. All right, so I've got the app here, right? And as you can see, at least I think you can see relatively well. Let's take a look. Perfect. So that's a black screen. So if you check mark that box and you don't add text or any kind of image and you send it out, that's going to be a black screen. There's nothing, there's nothing you really do except kind of open up the graphics and delete it from the app directly. But as it stands, if you send out a black screen or a black overlay, that's what the users are going to view. So definitely just kind of test and mess around with overlays. It's your first time. Just give it a couple of runs, some test runs, some practice. But you can always look at the top right of the screen. So as you can see here, the top right of my screen actually shows the program out. It's right here. So it's a smaller version of me. I'm trying to get this reflection off. Okay, perfect. So there's this little corner up here, right? And you can see the program out. And if I put up an overlay, for example, let me put this overlay up so I can kind of show you how this would look. Let's talk about the referral program. Perfect. So in the top right of my screen right now, all I see is this referral program. And this is a program out. So this is what everyone else is seeing. Right now, you're seeing a full-blown overlay, right? So that's all I see in my program out. So you can look at your program out. It's on the top right of your screen when you do a full graphic overlay, and you can see exactly what the user's seeing. Okay, so since I have this graphic up, this is a perfect time for me to talk about referring a friend. If you are already finding yourself recommending to users or other fellow potential streamers, you know, and they're asking what a Mevo is, and you're telling them what it is, you can actually go to mevo.com/refer or /referral. You can sign up for a custom coupon code. It can be named after your channel, your personal name, your baseball team, whatever, your sports league, whatever it might be. You can set one up, and anytime someone uses that coupon code, they're gonna save 5% on a Mevo start purchase from mevo.com, and then you're gonna earn 5% commission as well. So for when it's not on sale, you're looking at like $20 kickback, and they're saving $20. So it's a $40 savings in total on how you use it. But that is the Mevo referral program. So if you're already doing this, you might as well earn some kind of kickback. And we make it easy by going to mevo.com/refer/referral to take advantage of the referral program like that. So hopefully I answered a little bit. Let's see here. Okay, perfect. Okay, so hopefully that explained a little bit about the black screen. I believe that yours was the ticket that I responded to earlier. If you would like to check that, your email, I did respond to that earlier this morning. But it sounds like you just had a overlay that was just completely black, which was sending out as program. Dave Washburn says, please explain the audio meter more. My streams go quickly from too quiet to distorted. Okay, so basically auto gain needs to be enabled. What that's going to do is that's going to make sure that when it gets quiet, that the auto gain is automatically going to adjust that audio for you, the input essentially, and it's going to balance that out. And if you get too loud, it's going to turn it down, and it's going to stay consistent whether you're getting louder or quiet. So as I'm live, I talk louder. You know, in a normal day, I'll probably talk just a little bit like this, and it's gonna be a little bit more quiet. But when I do live streams, I get more excited about the content I'm talking about, and auto gain is going to ensure that regardless of how I talk, it's going to adjust that for you. It also depends on the input dynamics. They may just need a compressor prior to actually hitting the Mevo. If you're, for example, I'm using a audio mixer right now, and it's going into the back of the Mevo 3.5. So some adjustments might simply be needed at the mixer before it gets to the Mevo itself. We always recommend doing any kind of adjustments there before trying to do any kind of major adjustments. The Mevo audio settings are for like minor micro adjustments. If you have some major changes that need to be made, if you're blowing out the microphone or you're peaking all the time, you should make those prior to it hitting to the Mevo, whether you're using a USB microphone or the 3.5, make those adjustments before they hit the Mevo. And then use the Mevo app, the audio mixer settings, to make the micro adjustments from there. Thank you for the question. Jehu Hernandez, and I apologize if I chopped that. What's the difference between using a Mevo as a wireless webcam and Is Ndi? Okay, so using them is a lot of it's going to be the bit rate. So wireless webcam has a smaller bit rate than Ndi. When it comes to wireless webcam, I also believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, any of the agents in the chat, I'm really struggling to keep up with all the webcam changes that are happening. But I believe webcam is limited at 720p, where Ndi you can go up to 1080p at 15 megabytes per second. And even if you are using wireless and you can make it to 1080, you're still having a lower bit rate than Ndi. Ndi is going to be sending a higher quality stream overall, but it also requires a little bit more configuration. I don't recommend running Ndi via or wirelessly, although you can. I would recommend running it via an Ethernet cable. So there are some changes like that that you kind of have to take into consideration. Also, with wireless webcam, you can use your Mevo Plus or Mevo First Gen Ndi. That's only for the Mevo Start. So it really kind of depends on what product you're using, what output you need, what kind of network requirements and things you can fulfill if you're going to want to use Ndi or webcam. Thank you for the question. Juan says, I've researched forums in regards to the best audio settings when it comes to recording outdoor events, namely fast-pitch softball. Example, is it best to leave the output default or increase or decrease? It really depends. Wind mode's definitely recommended for outdoor sports. Obviously for baseball fields, softball, fast pitch. It's pretty open fields. All you have is a little chain link fence usually blocking the wind. So I definitely recommend if you're using internal audio that turn on that the wind mode to eliminate that. If you're interested in hearing what those changes sound like, you can tune in on Fridays. Joseph, our audio engineer, he's also part of our customer experience team. He does a live show here at Mevo Camera and on YouTube at Mevo Camera, where he discusses all of the audio settings, different types of microphones, and he even provides an example of what wind setting actually provides you as a user. All right, thank you. Let's see here. Vincent says, you said Mevo has distance from Vimeo. Do they still work with Livestream Studio switchers? Okay, so Vincent, so we are still very much so working with Vimeo. We're just not part of Vimeo. Previously, prior to 2019, we were owned by Vimeo. We spun off of Vimeo in 2019, and then recently were acquired by Logitech. Now, with that being said, yes, we absolutely still work with Vimeo directly. You still have to have a Vimeo producer plan to use graphics or overlays. You can still get a Vimeo premium plan to access graphics and overlays in multi-destination. You can still, there's still a Mevo input on Livestream Studio. All of those things, none of it has gone away. We are completely still as integrated with Vimeo's packaging plans and their Livestream Studio software just as before. Nothing's changed on that front at all. So yeah. No need to worry there. We've been separated from Vimeo as a company since 2019, and things are still going smoothly as ever. Okay, so Honey Honeydew says, I'm here to learn. I'm going to buy one a day. Fantastic. If you have any questions, let me know. Happy to answer those. If you have any, if you can't think of them now and the live stream ends before you get to your questions, absolutely open a ticket at help.mevo.com. You can also check out our Mevo customer group, and someone would be happy, probably there, our fellow customers or fellow streamers can give you their input on, if they're using it in the same type of use case that you have the desire to use it, then you can get some feedback direct on how they use theirs. Gogo says, can I use Mevo as a webcam? Holy crap. We just had like 10 questions get populated. You guys are keeping me busy today. I love it. I should have brought some water though. All right, Gogo says, can I use Mevo as a webcam without using the app? Okay, so you can technically, but you at least need to use the app a single time. So you have to use the app one time at the very least to enable webcam mode. Once webcam mode's enabled, then absolutely, you can use it as a webcam just by plugging it into the computer, and you should be good to go. Now, if you're using wireless webcam mode, you just need to make sure the device is on the same network as the mobile, the computer using wireless webcam. So you still need the app to configure the wireless network or Ethernet network as well. So it really just depends. It depends. You at the very least need to connect to the Mevo app at least a single time. And then after that, once you have it configured once, you should be good to go, provided no updates have to reset those settings. Juan says, also, when it comes to windy situations, is it best to use an external mic? Recommendations? Yes. I mean, definitely you can use external mics. A lot of external mics have different settings and different abilities. It depends what the type of microphone it is. This is kind of more of a longer conversation to have, probably. I highly recommend you checking out our show on Friday. We go live on Fridays, 2 p.m. Joseph would be happy to go in depth. These types of conversations are his favorite, but he can explain exactly the best type of microphones to use, what kind of things you can check. He can probably even give you a suggested model even. He's been in the industry doing audio engineering for years, TV shows, movies, things like that. So if you have an in-depth audio question and you need an in-depth answer, that's the best way to go. But for the general response, I'm gonna say yes, you can absolutely get an external microphone that is a higher quality and get better results. Now, that's not to say you can't get good results with the internal audio, but it is still internal audio, and there are products out there that are built specifically for what you're trying to use. Barnes says, what is NDI? So NDI is a protocol built by NewTek. We do have a couple articles on help.mevo.com to help people learn and understand what it is. But it is a protocol basically to take the video and audio from your Mevo and transmit it over an internet protocol or internet IP address of the, anyways, to transfer audio and video over an IP address on a network. So you can technically do this wirelessly, and it's going to send audio and video wirelessly. Or you can use Ethernet. Both NewTek and Mevo both recommend using Ethernet for NDI. But it really allows you to get a very high quality stream from your Mevo, up to 15 megabytes per second, for example, though. In comparison, the built-in Mevo is going to send out a stream that is 6 megabytes per second. That's going to be the bitrate cap for a 1080p stream directly from the Mevo. If you use NDI via the Mevo, it can go up to 15 megabytes per second. So you're gonna get a little bit more crisp, clear shot. And it's kind of crazy how much of a difference you actually see when you kind of use it. But the Mevo Start comes with it built in. It's the lowest cost consumer product out there that has NDI available. I think the next one is going to be closer to $1,000. So the Mevo Start is like the best camera to get for an entry-level NDI user, and it really can go a long way. I'm using Mevo Start right now, and imagine this quality, but even higher using NDI. Now, some platforms do limit you based on bit rate, so you might not be able to send off 15 megabytes per second. However, if you do find a platform that allows you to hit that high, the quality is going to be noticeably different. Jason says, what is the black rectangle outline to your left on the wall? That is a great question. What do we got here? Oh, is it, you talking about the brick? Oh, wait, on my left. On my left. Yeah, so my left. Oh, or, I guess I really don't see. Yeah, you must be talking about that, the brick in the wall. No, it just looks like a loose brick. I haven't really looked at it, to be honest. Never even noticed it. Yeah, it just looks like a loose brick that somebody took the filling or concrete out. I don't know. Okay. So Victor says, FYI, loving the Mevo start. I just did a Facebook stream from the road. Great product. Thanks, Victor. Thank you. That's awesome. If you're doing stuff from the road, I'd be very interested to see what content you're actually covering. We do have some people who use it for like RV travel and things like that. They have like tiny homes and they're on the go, and they use Mevo. They've used Mevo Plus, now Mevo Start. So if you're using it in a unique way and you're on the road, definitely use hashtag Mevo Cameras so our marketing team can see it. I'd be interested to see it as well. Karen says, can the Mevo app be open to review settings without linking to Mevo Camera? No, they can't. So the Mevo app is required to be connected to the Mevo Camera to access those settings. Otherwise, you're only seeing the Mevo via Bluetooth, which is only there for discovery. We can't send any settings. That method. You would absolutely have to connect to the Mevo. There's no way to send settings to it otherwise. It's a good question, though. Definitely a good question. If anybody else has any more questions, please let me know. How far are we into this thing? I guess I can pull this up and take a look, huh? Where are we at? 40 minutes. You guys, you all have really, really pushed the questions today. I'm loving it. Okay. So the last topic I want to talk about is, and I might have talked about it. There's been so many questions. I may have actually covered it already. So what about our older iterations? The Mevo first gen, the Mevo Plus, and then honestly, even the Mevo Start. As a company, Mevo is going to continue to work on new and existing products. We're never stopping. We're always going to be looking for ways to improve our existing products, and we're always working on new products. So you never really have to worry about us abandoning a product. For example, the Mevo first generation. That Mevo camera has been released since 2016. Now that camera hasn't been on the market for over a year and a half. There might be some lingering around, but I know our direct retailers, our authorized resellers, do not have any Mevo first gens or brand new Mevo Plus units any longer. Now those things have been discontinued and not available on the market for some time, and now we continue to add features. So we were actually sold out of brand Mevo Plus units, I believe mid last year, and it still received Mevo Webcam mode. The Mevo first gen was even sold out well before then, also got Mevo Webcam mode. It's also going to be compatible with Mevo Multicam. The Mevo Start is going to continue to be compatible. It's the latest and greatest, but of course, all of those platforms. Mevo's been really good at doing that, and we expect to continue that system. You know, if we can add a feature to a product, we're going to do our best to do it. And if we can deliver a stable product by adding a new feature, there's no reason for us not to do it. Now, well, man, I hit all three bullets for that last topic at one time. Like I said, Multicam Beta accepts all three iterations of the Mevo. Mevo First Gen, Mevo Plus, Mevo Start, and same for webcam mode. You can use all three Mevo for all of those as well. Now, of course, with webcam mode, there are some caveats as far as like how you're getting audio to the computer. The Mevo First Gen and Mevo Plus are not able to send audio in wired webcam mode. This is a hardware limitation, but like I said, we still released it in wired webcam mode. You can just have to introduce some external audio yourself into the computer. All the syncing and stuff will be taken care of on the computer. Nothing you need to worry about there because the video is delivered in basically real time. But that's just an example of some features that we were able to deliver stable, and we did that. Now, when it comes to other upcoming features and things we may not have announced yet, we're going to continue to work our hardest to bring those to all of our Mevo products and continue to deliver a stable product in all of those. When the betas come out, we're going to continue to work towards other things as well. So if you have a Mevo First Gen, Mevo Plus, I'm still going to recommend you get a Mevo Start because I'm telling you it's a giant step up. Widely seen as an upgrade. So as a Mevo Plus user myself from many years ago, I was shocked and very impressed with the Mevo Start, but there's no need to get rid of or shelf your old product. You can take advantage of it with the Mevo Multicam app, Mevo Webcam app, and you can use it side by side with the Mevo Start. You don't even have to have the same model. Whether it's a Mevo First Gen, Plus, or Start, you can absolutely use all three of those with the Multicam side by side, no problem. Elizabeth asks, can you use it with Switcher Studios? So no, Switcher Studio requires, and correct me if I'm wrong, they require an HDMI input. The Mevo only provides a UVC out via USB, and NDI or RTMP. Those are the three methods that you can connect to Mevo Start. So if you want to use it with something like Switcher Studio, you would need some expensive converter software, which is about as expensive as the camera itself, like $300 to $400 just to convert UVC or NDI to HDMI. And of course, you can always send some feedback over to Switcher Studio. Tell them that you would like to see a UVC or NDI input for Switcher Studio. However, check out our Multicam app. Multicam app is built specifically for Mevo, so you can control everything that you could typically control. When it comes out to the public outside of beta, it's going to have everything. It's going to be fantastic. So I just recommend doing that. And speaking of Multicam, we do a Multicam show every Wednesday in our Multicam beta group. You can go to Facebook and type in Mevo Multicam beta group to get there. Mevo will talk specifically about new and upcoming features and things like that, and demonstrates how everything works in the Multicam beta app. Matthew says, how much lighting do you need? Can you put lighting around it? Of course. So, I mean, your environment's gonna really dictate how much lighting. If you're outside and you have great sunlight and it's not blasting your lens, you're gonna get a great outcome. For this, I have filler light over here, some filler light over there, and I even have a light bar behind me, but it's specifically for the tree. But it's gonna be very dependent on your environment of what type of lighting. The Mevo is like any camera. It's gonna want light, it's gonna love light. It's kind of something you need to play with in your environment just to get it right for you. But it's going to like light. You can't really go wrong by adding light unless you're blasting the lens. You definitely don't want to take light and shoot it at the camera because the camera is going to try to adjust image settings. If you have it on automatic or normal, then you could run into some issues there. Okay, it looks like our questions are wrapping up today. Where are we at here? It looks like we're at about, we have 44 minutes. Perfect. That's a good time. It's a good time to wrap up. Thank you all once again. As always, thank you for participating. I love interacting with all of you. We do go live 4 times a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yep, 4 times a week. Tuesdays, today, it's Ask Mevo Anything. On Wednesdays, Will goes live on the Mevo Multicam group, and he covers everything Multicam related and interacts with you there, shows you features that aren't or even released yet. On Thursdays, it's either me or Will going live doing a Mevo Live, which is similar to this. We basically cover another topic. Sometimes we'll do some screen sharing and we interact and answer questions there. And then on Fridays, Joseph, the audio engineer here in the customer experience team, he deep dives into audio. Like I said, he has a background in television shows, movies. He's worked audio professionally for years. So if you're looking for a very extensive audio enlightenment, that's the time to tune in. We go live at Mevo Camera all 4 of those days at 2 p.m. 2 last questions before we wrap up. Honeydew says, is the quality on this version similar to the Mevo Plus? Okay, so the Mevo Plus has a 150-degree field of view lens and a 4K sensor. The Mevo Start has a newer but smaller sensor a newer but a 1080p sensor, which is 84-degree field of view lens. Now, it is not a 4K, it is 1080p. However, the sensor is newer, and the reason that we went with the sensor is for the low light ability. It is greatly improved over the Mevo Plus and side-by-side comparisons on the way they perform in low light, and the technology is simply newer compared to the 4K, which was released back in 2016. Mista says, just to be sure, I'm okay with my first gen Mevo, right? Absolutely. Your Mevo first gen is going to do just fine over the next years or few years. I don't see it just failing for no reason. Take care of the device, keep it out of bad weather. You should be solid. You can do webcam mode, multicam mode. But if you're using multicam, I can't tell you enough, the Mevo Start is solid with the tally lights and everything that it has. You can really take advantage of multicam, NDI, webcam mode, and the longer battery life in general. Okay, that wraps things up today. As always, make sure you like, follow, subscribe at Mevo Camera on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. You can find us going live Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We try to bring you as much content as we can. And if we can continue to give you great, if you bring us great interacting, we're going to continue to do it. Maybe we'll even do it more. So if you are not watching this live, go check out our Mevo customer group on Facebook. We will have links to all of our Mevo beta groups, and one of our agents will make sure all of our beta groups are posted in the chat so you can participate in both webcam mode and multicam and take advantage of those betas if that's something that you're into. As always, I'm Joseph Capehart, the Senior Technical Specialist here from Mevo. Thank you for tuning in, and until tomorrow's live show in the multicam group, we'll see you guys next time.